So I know that there's two individuals that are going to be missing today, Joe and Mr. Schultz. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee. It is Thursday, May 20th. It is 5:30. I will take roll call. Mr. Schultz is not here. Mr. Butita?
Here.
Mr. Arena?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman's not here. Ms. Crosby?
Here.
And Mr. McDonald?
Here.
All right. Looks like Mr. Schultz and Mr. Hoffman are not here today, and we do have a quorum. Can I get a motion to approve of the February 4th, 18, March 4th, 9th, and 25th, 2021 minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Crosby, second by Mr. Butita. Any questions or discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, I will take roll call. I will start with Ms. Crosby.
Yes.
Mr. Butita,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Arena,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Motion carries. Mr. Thompson or Mr. Rickert, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, Mr. Chairman, we do not have anybody signed up for comments.
All right. With that, we will go ahead and admit the public comment section and move on to our next item, which is an update to the PACE agreement. And I'll hand it over to Mr. Rickert to talk about this.
Okay, thank you. There was an update requested by IECA to the agreement that was signed. Apparently, the bond market for producing these requirements in order to make these deals work, we wanted some additional verbiage in the document to strengthen the ability to make this more palatable to the markets. We got information from IECA via Chapman Cutler, who's also our bonding authority. I do have a summary of the language that of the agreement that you're looking at tonight. I'm sorry it didn't make the packet, but I will make sure you are fully informed of what those specific changes are before you vote on this in front of the full county board. Essentially, it has to do with providing for a note placement feature in the package that allows, or at least is a provision for it to allow to set up a note structure to help facilitate the deal if it becomes necessary to secure payment on the assessment provision. It's fairly technical. Like I said, I'll send you a summary of this information. I'll make it fully available to the board when the time comes. But if this provision isn't in there, it's going to jeopardize any future PACE agreements we will have, because it's going to be very hard to go to the market and borrow money or allow these properties owners to borrow money if this provision is not in the PACE agreement.
Is there any questions regarding the summary that of the note regarding the PACE? So essentially, Mr. Rickert, based on this, on the description that you provided, essentially, who I guess I'm just kind of confused. I know that it's about an assessment, right? That on a yearly basis, that the property owner, obviously, and it's who makes the payments. I guess I'm just kind of concerned who takes out the
Essentially, it provides for the authority for the county to issue notes that are payable solely for the assessment payments received by the county under the assessment contract. The contract property owner agrees to the county assessing, which sounds rather confusing to me. I'll just read you the whole statement here I've gotten from counsel Chapman and Cutler. The note structure is being put in place as the preferred structure by the capital providers and is contemplated under the PACE statute. The notes do not count against the county's debt limitation and do not affect the county's credit rating in any capacity. We've included a not to exceed maximum of 500 million of notes in the ordinance to provide having to return to the board. This number can be reduced. This is the number most counties have proceeded with, Each time a note is issued under the PACE transaction, it counts against the 500 million amount authorized. So I assume it establishes a limit on how many PACE agreements can be outstanding at any one time. That's the way I interpret it. What I have requested of Chapman and Cutler is that they send representatives to the board to better explain this on board night. They've agreed to do so, and they will go over this much better, much more eloquently than I can. But essentially, the way it was explained to me is this is the provision necessary in order to enable the people participating in this program to be able to go out and get financing.
So I'm assuming it's almost like a co-signer kind of, where we essentially are taking out the note for that and, you know, somehow paying it through the assessment taxes that the property goes on. So that's what, you know, based on your summary that you provided.
It gives the county the flexibility, if necessary, to go out and obtain notes that would be paid for solely by the assessment on the property. In other words, the county wouldn't be responsible for making these payments. The assessment on the property would.
Right.
But it's a funding tool they felt was necessary in order to facilitate this program.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? Go ahead, Mr. Butita. I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just curious. I started to read that 93-page document and said, I talked to somebody else that did. The $500 million cap, that just seems like a large number. Is that something that we realistically could expect that much assessment or that much borrowing going on?
They did state in here that number can be reduced. I think that number is just a plug number that they kind of a one size fits all to be reduced at a later date. I would be ecstatic if we've got $500 million worth of investment in Winnebago County. I think everybody would be cheering that, but probably not very realistic to hit that amount.
I see. Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Crosby.
I guess I don't know what I don't know. So, you know, because it's a very thick document. I started to read it and I got lost in it a little bit or a whole lot. So my concern is I don't know what I don't know about this thing. And so what you're saying is without approval, what's the consequence that happens?
My understanding is it allows the county to have the additional feature of taking out a note if necessary, and then obligating the PACE participant to pay for that note through the assessment on their property. It's a way. It's like securing. My understanding is it secures the debt.
Okay, it's important.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't quite understand it very well either. So you're in good company. But like I said, I requested that bond counsel Chapman Cutler, who's their representative, is also ironically and coincidentally our bond counsel, will be at the board, and hopefully they do a much better job of explaining this feature and the necessity for it than I am. Okay. And after the meeting, I'll shoot everybody a summary of the information of the changes, and I hope, Mr. Arena, that's this is what they suggested instead of redlining the document, was to provide the summary information of the changes. But I mean, that's a discretion of the board.
Sounds good, Mr. Arena.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had similar questions as many of you. I had conversation with Mr. Rickert earlier today, and I had a conversation with Chairman Chiarelli. Chairman Chiarelli pointed out to me that this is time sensitive because we have a project that's pending. So I also want to better understand it. I don't know if the board meeting will be the best forum for us to really evaluate it. So possibly at caucus on Monday, maybe we could get some of these questions answered, so we're all better prepared on board night to ask the right questions. So I'm going to vote for it tonight. I'd encourage all of you to do it as well because of it being time sensitive, and I will do my best to get as much information as I can to everybody at caucus. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else have any questions or comments regarding this ordinance? All right, seeing none. What we're gonna do here is, can I get a motion to approve the ordinance update for the PACE agreement?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Arena, second by Mr. Butita. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Yes,
question.
go ahead, Mr. McDonald.
It's not on our agenda as an action item. I'm just curious if Ms. Vaughn is okay with us taking action on it that way?
It's a good question.
I thought it was.
It is,
Updates to the PACE agreement, but it doesn't say whether there's any resolutions or otherwise action to be taken.
Oh, so it's an ordinance. So yes, we can proceed. It's an ordinance, not a resolution.
Thank you for that clarification. And someday, I don't need to know right now. I'm curious why that's okay and resolutions are not. But I don't need that answer right now. Thank you.
all right. Any questions, additional discussion regarding the ordinance update on the PACE agreement? All right, seeing none, we'll take a roll call. I'm a yes. Ms. Crosby,
Yes,
Mr. Butita,
Yes.
Ms. Serena,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you very much on that, and hopefully we'll have more information next Monday on caucus. So looking forward to that. Are there any other matters to come before this committee? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Mr. Butita, second by Ms. Crosby. All in favor, please say by saying aye.
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 Opposed?